MovieWeb.com.
What do you think the relationship is between these two people? I mean, what is the attraction there?
I think the attraction is sort of, in a sense, the idea of the other person. I think they like each other's mind a lot, and I think they like the idea of this kind of smart, sort of, kind of witty counterpart. But I think that then the reality of that is that there's a lot of baggage they bring with that,
You really said that she kind of sees France as the woman in America as the man.
Mm-hmm.
Were you kind of looking at it that way?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that there definitely is. I think the cultural differences, sort of just act as a kind of metaphor, for how difficult it is for two people, no matter where they're from, to get along, and they're just sort of exaggerated by the cultural differences.
What was your first response when she brought this script to you and said she had written it specifically for you?
Well, when we first talked about it, she hadn't written it yet,
Oh.
so we actually sort of developed it together, actually.
So you were able to go in and kind of change the character and form it yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it was very collaborative. I mean, there's certain scene, ideas that are in there, based on conversations that we had together, and then, some improvisation on top of that, and some things that weren't in the script at all that are in there, and that kind of thing.
But having come from a director's background, I mean, you've directed films before.
Mm-hmm.
Did you kind of help her in the way she was going in her directorial?
Well, I mean, I just think that, even having, barring having directed even in the past, I think that I've always felt really comfortable as an actor being very collaborative and working with very collaborative directors. I mean, my first movie was with, Richard Linklater, and, who relies really heavily on actors' input and stuff. So I always felt really comfortable in that. And then when I've directed, I've relied very heavily on my actors as well. So I really have always felt that that's like, kind of just the best sort of relationship for a movie, I think.
Have you spent much time in France before this film?
Not really, no. I spent a couple of days in Paris, and then about a week in the south of France once.
Well, I'm wondering, after you have this script, if you go and you read it, and then if anything comes out of this, like in real life while you're there shooting, that you didn't expect to come out of the script, does that make sense?
Yeah, stuff came out, but it would come out very spontaneously on the spot, almost while we were shooting, while the camera was rolling, kind of thing.
How was your reaction to people coming up to you and asking for directions? I mean, have you actually gone and done that where you sent somebody in the wrong direction?
No. Nobody talked to me. No. Nobody just came up and started talking to me. No.
I mean, in general, if you're on vacation and somebody's like, "Hey, do you know where so and so is?"
No, I try to be helpful.
Do you?
No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not nearly as sort of kind of petty as he is, I think. Yeah.
What are some of the cultural cliches that you think actually ring true?
I think there's a certain feeling that Europeans in general have a bit more kind of candor, I think they kind of, I think they don't second censor themselves as much, in a sense. I think that there is something to be said about us being a bit more tightly wound,
Do you have any further plans to go direct a film in the future?
Yeah, that's always been my sort of goal, is to make films, but only when I feel like I have something to say. Like, I don't want to do it just for the sheer sake of doing it, or to call myself a director or whatever. So basically I wait until an idea comes and then I write it. And if the idea doesn't come, then I don't write.
What's your favorite part about this movie after having seen it finished?
What's my favorite part about it? I don't know. I think I like, sort of the naturalism of it. I think that I feel like that came across fairly well.
Talking about other projects, do you think you're going to reprise your role in Earl?
No.
Not at all?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, that's too bad. That's good. I like it.
No, that was fun. Yeah, Jason was an old friend of mine. In fact, he was Marissa Ribisi's guardian on Dazed and Confused, and that's how I first met him.
Really?
Yeah, because they were boyfriend and girlfriend. He was a skateboarder at the time. We all told him he should act, and now he's a millionaire, so there you go.
Your relationship with Richard Linklater have anything to do with you getting involved with Julie Delpy, or were you all friends before this came about?
No, Julie and I in fact had hired Julie for a TV pilot that I was producing years ago about a New York Franco-American couple who argued a lot. And so we actually sort of did a kind of mini version of this in a weird way back then. And that's pretty much how we first met. Yeah.
I want to ask you about your take on the whole smoking issue, as far as if cigarettes are in a film nowadays, it's going to be rated R. What's your whole take on that?
I mean, I think it becomes really difficult when you start dealing with like period pieces, because what if a 15-year-old kid wants to see a movie about World War II or something like that. I think there's some you know, it's important, obviously, for that kid to see that movie. And, you know, if he can't because they're smoking in it, then I think it's a little silly, you know. I think that only movies with full-fledged fellatio should get an R rating. Everything else should be PG-13.
Excellent.
Yeah. And even that, I'm not so sure of. I think the kids need to see that.
Need fellatio?
I think so. Yeah. All right.
2 days in Paris.
I don't feel well.
Can I use this thermometer?
I usually don't use this one in the mouth. I mean,
Oh, come on!